The confirmed number of coronavirus cases climbs to 40. How nurses are doing on the front line. Plus, what some MPs are doing to help their constituents.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquim. Topping news tonight, a Grand Bahama woman has become the latest person to die from COVID-19. 40 people have tested positive for the virus. This comes as health officials continue to warn of super spreaders and narrow in on hotspot communities in New Providence and Grand Bahama. Jared Higgs has more.
Sadly, the Ministry of Health confirmed another COVID-19 death today of a 51-year-old female who was tested posthumously.
Health officials say that woman died on Grand Bahama on April 6th. Her death bringing the country's COVID-19 death toll to 7 and the number of cases up to 40. However, officials say one model shows a big jump in cases.
33 in New Providence, 6 in Grand Bahama, and 1 in Bimini.
San says some patients are doing well, but others are gravely ill. He says 4 new cases are on the radar.
There are 4 confirmed cases, including 3 in New Providence and 1 in Grand Bahama, ranging in ages between 38 and 60. There are 2 females and 2 males. 1 case has been admitted to Doctors Hospital West, 2 are in home isolation, and 1 deceased.
Even though 5 people have recovered, San says contact spreading is still a massive concern. Hotspots in Grand Bahama and New Providence are still being investigated.
Areas east of East Street in New Providence are still of concern. In Grand Bahama, areas south of West Sunset Highway near Hunters, the immediate areas east of East Mall Drive and Lucaya and Williamstown are of concern.
394 people have been tested for COVID-19. However, health officials admit that as long as they don't increase those testing numbers, the country's mortality rate, which sits well above world averages at 17.5%, will remain high. San says he suspects that countries getting large shipments of test kits are going for cheaper antibody tests instead of more reliable molecular test kits.
These test kits, which are very inexpensive, but as yet not quite validated in many jurisdictions, it raises the question of how do you appropriately use them.
Sands urged Bahamians to follow curfew regulations in order to slow down the spread of the virus. He again slammed people flouting curfew, warning that super spreaders are passing the virus on. While cautioning young people to take the virus seriously, he had a stark warning for the elderly.
We must look after our seniors, but stay at a distance from them. In nursing home facilities, COVID-19 can spread easily among seniors due to them living in close proximity to each other, and the impact can be severe.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, soldiers must be armed for battle, according to Bahamas Nurses Union President Amanda Williams, who said as frontline soldiers in the national fight against coronavirus, nurses need to have the proper protective equipment. Jillian Gray spoke with the union leaders as nurses toured the South Beach COVID-19 facility.
After nearly 50 healthcare workers were exposed to the coronavirus, Bahamas Nurses Union President Amanda Williams said as soldiers on the front line, nurses must not only have the proper protective gear, but insurance as well.
We are soldiers that are going into war, but like you said, we do need an equipment. We cannot go into war without an equipment. We cannot go into war without these facilities up to the standards that they should be. We cannot go to war when the nurse don't know the time she's working off. She's going to be compensated for what she's going to be worked for. She cannot go to war without an insurance, okay? And the risking of her family and her life, okay? All we ask for from the union is to give us in black and white, attend to the needs.
Williams spoke to our news moments before touring the South Beach Clinic, which is being renovated and expected to be equipped to house 15 COVID-19 patients if needed. The BNU president said they have been in contact with the healthcare workers affected by the spread and all seem to be in good spirits. She added that while she understands the situation is fluid, she's not pleased with the level of communication with health officials.
The information has to come down in a timely fashion and ensure that your workers are comfortable in the methods that you're taking, and listen to your workers, because that is how we're going to combat this. You can't be doing one thing from cabinet and the workers doing another thing. We need to be together as a team.
Williams thanked nurses for their service and said she is pleased that training is taking place to prepare them. However, she said she's not certain all family islands are prepared to handle the fight against COVID-19.
We spoke with the director of nursing, we spoke to the minister, we spoke to the PNO, and we asked them to assure that each clinic in the family island have the equipment ready to go.
Williams is also encouraging the public to adhere to the safety protocols. As she says, they put nurses at risk when they don't. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
For many, a simple trip to the grocery store has been a hellish experience marred by overcrowding and hours-long waits outside stores. For those with disabilities and compromised immune systems, it's even more of a nightmare. The situation has prompted one sickle cell warrior who is also living with a disability to plead for more to be done to protect the vulnerable during the COVID-19 crisis. Jasmine Brown has her story.
I'm wary and I'm cautious.
Kayla Smith Mortimer looks and sounds like any healthy mother of three, but as they say, looks can be deceiving. You see, Smith Mortimer is living with sickle cell and has had to completely transform her way of life due to the COVID-19 crisis. Even something as simple as grocery shopping has become a tedious task for the mother and wife, who is also president of the Bahamas Sickle Cell Association. Smith Mortimer, who also has a back injury due to a fall, was one of thousands of people who headed to the grocery store on Tuesday morning. She says the experience of standing in line for 6 hours left her in debilitating pain that landed her in the doctor's office.
Everybody's anxious. Everybody wants to make sure they have enough food for the lockdown. But I think, too, those with diseases are being left out of the conversation.
Sickle cell disease is an inherited disorder causing normal red blood cells to deform into stiff crescent shapes that get stuck in small blood vessels, blocking blood flow and oxygen delivery to many parts of the body. This sickling is triggered by events such as viral illnesses, cold weather, stress, and low oxygen, among other things. If this sickling happens in the lungs, it triggers a cascade of events that cause a severe complication called acute chest syndrome. The U.S. Center for Disease Control has warned that individuals of any age with blood disorders such as sickle cell disease may be at an increased risk of developing serious COVID-19 symptoms and have suggested they take extra precautions. Mortimer says she has been doing just that, given the fact that one of her daughters also has sickle cell.
I want to live. I want my daughter to live. I want other warriors to live. I want them to have the opportunity to be able to do everything they want to do in this life. And people need to understand, if they have parents, take it seriously. If you have friends who have diabetes, hypertension, lupus, cancer, take it serious. It is that dire.
She says it's the actions of others who are not adhering to the strict social distancing rules and curfew that is truly frightening.
I'm fearful because people are not taking it as serious as they should. When I was on the line, even though there was a line and people were 3, 4, 5, 6 feet away, I stepped off from the line. So I made like a zigzag, only because I didn't want to put myself too close, because I'm fearful.
Now, Smith Mortimer says if Bahamians want to get through these difficult times as quickly as possible, they should listen to officials and also be more considerate of others. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. Well, some Hurricane Dorian survivors say the pandemic has dealt a massive blow as they were barely getting back on their feet following last year's killer storm. Jared Higgs has more.
After this lockdown, I didn't know the money. I don't even know I could go back in the shop.
Bronson Williams lost everything when Hurricane Dorian pulverized Abaco last September. He was barely starting to get back on his feet before the coronavirus pandemic grounded the country's economy to a halt.
When the job shut down, I thought it would have been like for maybe a couple of days. I didn't know it was that serious.
The 41-year-old had just landed a job after months of searching. He hadn't been working for a month when the ferry business that employed him was ordered shut by government. With his money running out, Williams says getting help from government agencies has been a difficult task.
We're really depending on them like that on that level right now. We can then must commit suicide right here.
Williams lives with his partner, LaShawn McIntosh, in a tent inside an unoccupied home in Marsh Harbor.
We ain't know when we could be in a situation when the people can say, well, look here, we need our place.
McIntosh also knows deep hardship. She lost her 8-year-old son, Lashino Dean, during the monster storm. Homeless and jobless, the 38-year-old struggled to find work. Eventually, she found a job as a cleaner at a clinic in Abaco. But the virus threat is another massive setback.
I don't have any hope. You know, like after, during, and then I have this virus going on and jobs slow down and things like that.
So they got nowhere to live.
Don't have anywhere to live. You know, I feel like everything just gone. I feel like I don't have any hope.
The fallout from the coronavirus shutdown is widespread, with thousands losing their jobs as layoffs continue nationwide. Ramon King, another Abaconian who lost everything last September, says things were finally looking up when he relocated to New Providence and got a job at a gaming house. However, now that is closed, he's relying on NIB.
Mentally, I'm like, again? Like, I can't catch a break. If it ain't one thing, it's the next.
King says he's trying to stay hopeful.
A lot of people lost their lives. I know it was a tragedy. A lot of people in worse predicaments than me. So I'm grateful at the end of the day. You know, God doesn't put anything on you that you cannot bear. And all I could do is pray and hope for the best.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Some members of parliament have stepped up to help their constituents during this difficult time. From Baintown and Engliston to Mount Moriah, MPs are handing out food vouchers and groceries to those finding it hard to get by.
No one in this community will go hungry.
It's a pledge by Bain and Grantstown MP Travis Robinson. With over 20,000 people living in that constituency, Robinson has prepared 240 care packages containing grits, rice, canned goods, and other items for the elderly in that community. And beginning next Tuesday, he said 500 hot meals will be delivered per day, in addition to up to $300 in rental assistance.
How it will work is that persons in the community, as of next week Tuesday to the 30th of April, they'll call the constituency office, indicate where their name and where they live. We have runners in each polling divisions throughout the community who will come to the office, get the food and deliver it to the people.
In nearby St. Barnabas, MP Shannon Don Cartwright was in front of Kenneth's food store handing out food vouchers and personal protective equipment to his constituents.
There's a national reality that we are dealing with, but there is also some localized reality in that for a lot of persons, this is even more difficult for them. Because for a lot of persons, just getting groceries on a daily basis is something that is real. And so while everybody is challenged by this, we're trying our best to bring some relief.
Mr. Cartwright just showed up and started passing out these vouchers, which was really thoughtful and really helpful, because myself and a lot of my neighbors, this is going to go a very long way.
Over in Engliston, MP Glenys Hannah Martin has been working in the community through the churches. She says the COVID-19 pandemic has brought about an even bigger need for help in the area.
And so we were able to get food vouchers out, but truthfully, it's just touching the surface. This is a very, very difficult time. And I think the sooner that the assistance programs are expedited, it will begin to bring relief to people. And I think that that's very much, that's an urgent matter right now.
In the Mount Moriah constituency, Marvin Dames' team was out on Stapleton Gardens Park handing out care packages with tuna, corned beef, and other items.
Taking into consideration that people are going to be locked down for a period of time, he wanted to make sure that they have resources. And so we sent out the information on the food bank. We've been having calls from the entire Bahamas, Abaco, Exuma, Carmichael Road, Fox Hill.
This is just from Mount Moriah.
It's a Mount Moriah initiative.
However, there are some constituencies like those in Grand Bahama still dealing with the slow rebound from Hurricane Dorian. It was something stressed by Pine Ridge MP Frederick McAlpine.
I have used all my resources in trying to assist the people during the time of Hurricane Dorian. And so Only thing I can encourage my people in Pine Ridge to do at this time, and the people of the Bahamas, is to take advantage of every benefit that the government is offering.
Still to come, Alive's chief addresses layoffs. Plus, a company sees a spike in business after introducing deliveries. Stay tuned. You're watching Our News. Welcome back. Chief Alive Officer Damian Blackburn says the company is doing all it can to assist the 20 employees recently laid off due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Blackburn said with stores closed and employees working remotely, it was a decision that was necessary for the company. However, he said those employees will have a job once things get back to normal.
It's one of the unfortunate things that has happened here in the whole situation, but hopefully we've dealt with it as well as we can. And I would like to put on record and thank those team members that we have had to lay off. They've done an incredible job for Alive, and I know that we will be requiring them again once we get moving again with the business in more normal times.
Blackburn said the company is challenged every day with each development during this crisis, but he said Alive is also learning and doing what it must to keep its customers and employees connected.
We've redeployed people as much as we can, and we will continue to try and do that. But obviously, things are unfolding every day. The lockdown this weekend caused new issues for us, and we'll have those issues again repeating over the Easter weekend. I just urge everybody to keep buying their plans and their top up on the app or dialing 611 customer care from your Alive phone, and that will keep us going.
Well, a local wholesale grocery company has also had to adjust amid the pandemic. The distributor began deliveries, resulting in a significant increase in business. Bethany McDermott reports.
Discount Distributor started out as a wholesale supplier to large grocery stores and restaurants. In September, the business expanded, launching an app with delivery services. Part owner Ryan Turnquest says since the emergency orders, his company has seen a 75% increase in users and a 120% increase in orders on the app. However, he says the spike in business has caused a backlog.
But because of the lockdown, we had to temporarily shut it down because we have a 48 to 72 hour lead time, and now would run into the lockdown.
Despite this, Turnquest said delivery services are ongoing. He said the company acquired 4 new vehicles to meet demand.
What happened was our Thursday deliveries were supposed to deliver on Saturday, and our Friday was supposed to deliver on Sunday, so that automatically put us back 2 days. So we still delivering right now. So we have orders up until Monday, and so those orders will go between today and tomorrow.
Now, for the past 2 weeks, Turnquest says his company has experienced long lines like these. And in some instances, he said customers weren't practicing proper social distancing. It's for this reason he's encouraging his consumers to take advantage of their delivery services.
A lot of persons really aren't taking it serious. They're more concerned about just getting their grocery and they're not social distancing. So sometimes we got to get officers to come down to control the crowds. It's been to the point sometimes where, we as owners, we want to just kind of shut it down. Next weeks and months to come, I suggest using the home deliveries. We'll increase our fleet. We'll increase our staff if need be.
Turnquest noted that his company is catering to a different group of customers as large restaurants are temporarily closed. As for meeting the increased demand, Turnquest says they're on top of it. Once this is all said and done, Turnquest said it's his hope that Bahamians will continue to use the delivery services. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Thanks, Bethany. Still to come, will the bodies of COVID-19 victims have to be cremated? The details after this. As the number of COVID-19 related deaths in the Bahamas climbs, it has raised questions over the burial protocol for those persons. The National Funeral Directors Association has recommended cremation, but Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says that may not be necessary.
The World Health Organization has put out a position that there is no difference between burial and cremation. So at this point, we have not taken a position one way or the other. Certainly, typically, ordinarily, Bahamians have tended more towards burial than cremation. There is no public health reason why people should have to be cremated.
Sands said with funeral services being postponed due to emergency orders, storage of these bodies may become a problem.
Some people may choose to have the remains of their loved ones kept in storage pending the completion of the surge, and the possibility then might arise for a funeral. That could potentially create a challenge with storage facilities. And, notwithstanding the politics of coolers, refrigerated coolers, we need to be able to plan for an increase in capacity. God forbid we should have a number of deaths. Where are we going to keep these remains?
Still to come, amid uncertainty, a local baseball player is keeping his eyes on the prize. Stay tuned. And finally tonight, the month of April usually signals the start of professional baseball season. One of the country's top young players talks about staying ready for the call to play.
So, of course, it is that time of the year, spring, which means usually spring training, which just ended, and, of course, the Major League Baseball season getting underway. These things are currently gathering dust unless guys are working out at home because everything's been put on hold due to COVID-19. We have a bunch of players in the minor league system hoping to get their call up. One of those is Jazz Chisholm with the Miami Marlins. We spoke to him earlier about his plans projected for the future and what's ahead.
Fresh start with a new team, coming in to show what I could do, and going out there and playing the way that my grandma taught me how to play the game, and that's being yourself and playing hard every day.
Yeah, you talked about the fact that it was a new team. I mean, when you were a number one prospect and then all of a sudden you were traded, did that mess with your mind at all, or did it refocus you?
No, as you know, last year my season started off a little shaky, but after that, when I got traded, it gave me a new start of the year and of my whole career. My whole career being known as the Diamondback. But then when I got traded to the Marlins, I was like, all right, fresh start. Let's start it off with a bang, and let's keep it going like that. So when I started off pretty well, it was just like, all right, we got to keep it moving and keep it moving.
What are you doing to stay sharp? What are you doing to keep on top of your game? I know it's difficult. You can't get confused and stuff.
Yeah, like every morning I'll probably, like around 11:30, 12 o'clock, I'll go for a quick mile run. I've been chopping down on times every time, but a quick mile run. After my mile run, drink some water, and then get like 7 to 8 sprints in, 40-yard dashes. And then when I get done with that, it's just get in the house and start lifting stuff for my normal workouts. Like normally I have weights, but we don't have that at the time. For right now, it's just like muscle memory instead of trying to get bigger.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It's just muscle memory so you don't get sore when you really get back in.
What's your main focus in terms of getting better, and what your projection is for the season?
Staying focused is definitely my main focus. Ain't nothing to really do, so you get bored, but you gotta stay focused and stay on your grind. I just ordered a tee 2 weeks ago. I just got in last week, and I've been hitting into my little net in the back of the house every day. So I've just been trying to focus on everything I've done during spring training and keep that going. Like some mornings I woke up at 5 a.m. and went in the backyard and just was hitting. So like to me, like that's my main focus is just staying on my grind and staying hungry every day.
So hopefully they'll be able to put used to these things real soon, get a chance to play some ball. Why not? And meanwhile, I'm Marcellus Hall for our news. The weather is next. Thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kyle Joaquin. Remember, you can catch Our News on the go with the RefGo Play app. Have a good Wednesday evening, Bahamas.